All right, everyone, this is going to be getting started with SolidWorks 2025. This is the Education Edition, and in this video, we're going to walk through the difference between part files, assembly files, drawing files, and some of the basic tools that we're going to be seeing throughout our SolidWorks journey. So let's get started. So this is the main page of SolidWorks. This is what you see every time you open up the program. Up at the top here, we have our main ribbon. This is where we can find things like File, View. We can find things like New and Save, and just some general tools that we'll be using throughout the entirety of SolidWorks. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go start a brand new file. So up here in the top left, I see the file icon. I can left click on that once, and then it gives me a few different options. It gives me new, which means that I want to create a brand new file, whether it be a part file, assembly file, or drawing file, or open, which means I want to open an existing file that I have already saved and I want to continue to work on it. So for us right now, we're going to get started on just opening a brand new file because we should have no files open. So let's go click on the new, and this is basically the window that will pop up every single time we want to create a new file within SolidWorks, because we need to tell SolidWorks what kind of file we want to work with. So the difference in files is a part file is a singular component. So I've got a pin right here, and I want you to think of a part file as just the cap of the pin. Okay, so just the cap of the pin is a single part file. Another part file is maybe the inkwell and tip, and another part file would be the body of the pin. When we jump over to an assembly here, that is when we start taking all of our different parts that we've individually modeled and we start putting them together. Okay, so parts 1 and 2 would go together. Part 3 would then go together, and I've got an entire assembly, which would be my pen. So again, a part is just an individual part of a greater assembly. Now, a drawing is a 2D representation of our 3D parts. So it's how we get parts into machining, it's how we get parts into manufacturing, and it's how we check that our parts are correct once we get them back from maybe the machine shop or the rapid prototype company, whoever it is that we actually had manufacture the parts. So we're going to just get started on a part file. That's typically where we always start. We always start at a part file, and then we'll go either into an assembly or into a drawing, depending on what it is we need to do. So I'll go part file, and I'm going to click on OK. This is going to open up my main model display of SolidWorks here, which is right in here. So this is my 3D model space. I'm actually going to open up a part so we can see what it will look like after we've gotten started on a part. So this is a simple candlestick holder that some of my older advanced engineering students have been working on. And what this is it's basically a fully 3D representation of a part that we want to create. So this is our main model space. Over here we have what's called our design tree, which I want you to think of the design tree as basically a step-by-step instruction to create this. So each one of these steps are the steps that were taken in order to actually complete this part. Up here we have our main modeling toolbar. So we have things like basic modeling tools where we can do some 2D sketching, some dimensioning. We have some 3D components here. We have things like simulation that we could do. So we could actually apply a force to the top of this and see at what point will it fully crush. We have CAM that we can do, so actually machining the process, and a few other ones that we don't typically work with too much until you get out into industry. Again, that top toolbar we can see here is now it's a little bit more expanded, but we have things like opening or new file, open file. We have things like our settings that live up here. And one thing I want you to realize is that as we hover over things, the user interface will actually tell us what it is that button does. And that's a really nice feature that we can do. And we can see maybe we don't know how to create a brand new smart dimension. It will tell us how we can create the dimension. It gives us a little graphic on what it is we need to do. And overall, it can just give us a little bit more information. Same goes for every single different tool. So if you're ever stuck, you can kind of hover over it and it'll tell you what it does. Like a fillet, it rounds the corners. And you can see creates a rounded internal or external, blah, 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 blah. Okay, so we can use that to our advantage. That's very important to keep in mind. I also want you to be familiar up here with the search bar. So if we change this search bar to commands, what this allows us to do is it allows us to search up any tool that might be missing. So SolidWorks doesn't give us every single tool that they have immediately. And the reason for that is we would get very, very overwhelmed if that happened. So things like they'll give us the general, like a circle. Well, a cousin of the circle is the ellipse. And if I search up, I can find the ellipse. Now the ellipse is not on my main toolbar anywhere, but I can find that it is a tool that it exists. I could search it up. I could drag it onto my toolbar if it's something that I want to keep, maybe something that I use quite often, but this is the general toolbar that they give to everybody. So this is just getting started in SolidWorks on parts. We'll have extra videos for getting started in assemblies and getting started in drawings as well. So be sure to check those out as well.